As we grow older, our bodies begin to tell a story, sometimes quietly, sometimes urgently. For elderly loved ones, especially those in fragile health, certain signs may begin to surface that suggest they could be approaching the final year of life. These changes are often subtle at first and easy to brush off, especially if we're not ready to face them. But recognizing these signs early can be a powerful way to prepare emotionally, offer the right kind of support, and make sure our loved ones are treated with the dignity and care they deserve during their final chapter. This isn't about giving up hope or setting an expiration date. It's about awareness, compassion, and understanding what the body is trying to communicate. Too often, families are caught off guard because no one prepared them for what the end might actually look like. Doctors might be hesitant to say too much. Caregivers might not know how to bring it up. But knowledge gives you the chance to create a more peaceful, meaningful goodbye. And that's something we all deserve. In this video, I'm going to share 5 powerful signs that an elderly person may be in their final year. These are based on real experiences, countless conversations with caregivers and nurses, and the patterns we've come to understand in end-of-life care. This is for you if you're caring for an aging parent, grandparent, or even just trying to understand more about what this stage of life really looks like. Make sure you stay until the end, because the 5th sign often goes unnoticed until it's too late. And if you find this helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe. We're building a community here where we talk openly and honestly about aging, caregiving, and end-of-life topics. You're not alone in this. 1. Rapid weight loss. One of the first signs that an elderly person may be entering their final year of life is rapid, unexplained weight loss. This isn't just about shedding a few pounds, it's often a visible, dramatic change that happens over a relatively short period of time. You might notice clothes hanging looser, belts needing to be tightened, or a once rounded face looking more sunken. For many families, this is one of the first red flags that something deeper is going on. So what causes this sudden weight loss? It's often a mix of several things. First, the body's metabolism slows significantly as we age, especially if mobility decreases. When someone isn't moving around as much, their body doesn't process nutrients the same way. But more importantly, appetite tends to decline. This can be due to underlying illnesses like cancer, heart disease, or advanced dementia, or simply because food doesn't taste the same anymore. Medications can dull hunger cues, and some elderly individuals forget to eat altogether. There's also something called cachexia, a condition common in terminal illnesses where the body begins to waste away despite how much food is consumed. It's heartbreaking because no amount of coaxing or special meals can reverse it. The body, in essence, starts shutting down its ability to maintain weight. For caregivers and loved ones, it can be frustrating and scary to watch. You might find yourself begging them to eat, preparing their favorite foods, or trying meal replacement shakes just to add a few calories. But often, the underlying issue isn't lack of effort. It's that the body simply isn't cooperating anymore. This kind of weight loss also affects strength and mobility. As muscles deteriorate, simple tasks like walking, standing, or even sitting upright become difficult. Falls become more frequent. Fatigue sets in faster. The person might start spending more time in bed or require more physical support than they did just weeks ago. If you're noticing rapid weight loss in an elderly loved one, it's important to speak to their healthcare provider. While not all weight loss means the end is near, when combined with other symptoms, it can be a strong indicator of declining health. Most importantly, shift your focus from trying to fix the weight loss to ensuring comfort, hydration, and dignity. Encourage light meals they enjoy, offer finger foods they can nibble on without pressure, and create a peaceful environment around eating. This stage isn't about quantity of food, It's about quality of life. 2. Increased sleep and fatigue. Another profound sign that an elderly person may be in their final year of life is the noticeable increase in sleep and a deep, ongoing fatigue that doesn't seem to go away, even with rest. At first, you might chalk it up to a slow day or assume they just had a rough night. But over time, the pattern becomes clear. They're sleeping longer, napping more often, and spending most of their day in bed or in a recliner, eyes closed, disengaged from the world around them. This isn't just normal tiredness. It's a kind of exhaustion that seeps into every part of life. Tasks that used to take a few minutes, getting dressed, walking to the bathroom, having a short conversation, suddenly feel overwhelming. Even being awake becomes draining. And while sleep may seem like a break or a relief, what you're really seeing is the body gradually winding down. So why does this happen? It often comes down to the body conserving energy. As major systems begin to slow down, heart, lungs, kidneys, and even brain function, the body instinctively reduces activity. It's a way of protecting itself. And at a certain point, sleep becomes more comforting than the effort it takes to stay awake. You may also notice that even when they're awake, they're not truly alert. Conversations are shorter. Responses are slower or confused. They may drift off mid-sentence or nod off during meals. Mentally, it becomes harder for them to stay engaged or even remember what day it is. Some may even experience what's called terminal delirium, where they alternate between long periods of sleep and brief moments of confusion or agitation. For loved ones, this stage can feel incredibly isolating. The person you knew as active, vibrant, or chatty is suddenly slipping away, one quiet afternoon at a time. You might feel like you're losing them even though they're still physically here. The best thing you can do during this time is simply be with them. Don't force conversations or try to keep them awake longer than they can handle. Sit beside them, hold their hand, play soft music, or read aloud. Let your presence be the comfort they need. Remember, this isn't laziness or depression. It's the natural progression of a body preparing for rest. Increased sleep is a signal that the end may be near, and our role shifts from fixing to honoring that transition. 3. Withdrawal from life. One of the most emotionally difficult signs that an elderly person may be in their final year is social withdrawal. This isn't just about being tired or needing quiet time. It's a noticeable pulling away from the people, activities, and conversations that once brought them joy. It can feel sudden, or it may unfold gradually. But when someone starts to emotionally and mentally disconnect from life, it's often a deeper sign that they're preparing to let go. You might notice they stop calling family members or lose interest in visits. They might sit silently during conversations or offer only a few words when spoken to. Activities they used to love, watching favorite shows, knitting, playing cards, even reading, no longer hold their attention. Their world begins to shrink, and it's not because they're bored or annoyed. It's because they're beginning to retreat inward. This can be especially heartbreaking for caregivers and family. You may try everything to bring them back. Suggest an outing, call in visitors, bring old photos, or play familiar music. But what you're witnessing isn't a choice. It's part of the body and spirit's natural process of preparing to say goodbye. They are gently detaching from the world they've known. Some people also begin to talk about going home, seeing loved ones who have passed, or sensing a change that's coming. These moments can be eerie, but they're often deeply meaningful. In many end-of-life stories, people describe their loved ones seeing a parent or spouse in a dream, or claiming someone is waiting for them. Whether you believe in the spiritual aspect or not, the emotional impact is powerful. It shows that their focus is shifting, from this life to whatever comes next. There may also be changes in mood or personality. A once talkative person may become quiet. Someone cheerful may appear distant. And those changes can hurt, especially if you're hoping for connection or closure. But it's important to understand, this isn't personal. It's not that they don't love you anymore or don't want you near. They're simply crossing into a stage where words, plans, and even relationships begin to fade into the background. The best response to this kind of withdrawal is gentle presence. Don't push. Don't try to force engagement. Sit with them. Let silence be sacred. Respect their inner journey. And if they do speak, really listen. These final reflections, however few and far between, can be deeply meaningful. When someone begins to retreat from life, it's not the end, but it's a powerful sign that it may be approaching. 4. Changes in breathing tells us more about a person's condition than almost anything else. And when the end of life is approaching, it often speaks volumes. In the final year, and especially in the final months, many elderly individuals experience noticeable changes in their breathing patterns. This can include shortness of breath, heavy or labored breathing, long pauses between breaths, or even strange new rhythms that can feel alarming to watch. One of the most common signs is periodic breathlessness. Even during rest, you might notice your loved one struggling to catch their breath while simply sitting up or talking. A short walk to the bathroom might leave them winded. They may even begin using oxygen if they weren't already. And while these symptoms can appear in many chronic conditions like heart failure or COPD, when they become more frequent and more difficult to manage, they can signal that the body is entering its final stages. As decline progresses, Cheney-Stokes breathing may occur. This is a pattern where breathing becomes very irregular, alternating between deep, rapid breaths and long pauses where it feels like they've stopped breathing altogether. The first time you witness this, it can be terrifying. You might think it's the moment of death, but often it's just another part of the slow winding down of the body's systems. Another subtle change is shallow breathing, also known as panting or chest breathing. As muscles weaken, the body struggles to take deep breaths, and air hunger can become a real issue. You may notice flaring nostrils, pursed lips, or a tight chest movement as they try to pull in air. This is exhausting and can increase anxiety, making it a frightening experience for both the person going through it and the people witnessing it. Sometimes, you'll also hear a gurgling or rattling sound as secretions build up in the throat. This is often called the death rattle, and while it sounds distressing, it usually doesn't cause discomfort for the person. It's a result of the body not being able to clear fluids the way it used to. Care teams can often administer medications or reposition the person to make breathing quieter and more comfortable. For families, these breathing changes can be emotionally overwhelming. You might feel helpless, watching each breath as if it could be the last. But understanding that this is part of the body's natural shutdown process can bring peace. Focus on comfort. Keep the room calm, speak softly, use fans or oxygen if needed, and never underestimate the power of your presence. Just sitting beside someone during difficult breathing episodes can bring tremendous relief. When breathing begins to shift in these ways, it's often a powerful signal that the body is nearing its final stages of life. 5. Loss of interest in eating. One of the clearest and most emotional signs that an elderly person may be nearing their final year is a sudden or gradual loss of interest in eating and drinking. For many families, this is the moment it becomes real, that undeniable sign that something has changed. You prepare their favorite meals, bring snacks they once loved, or try every trick in the book, and still, they barely touch a bite. It's frustrating. It's scary, and it's deeply heartbreaking. But here's the truth. As the body prepares for the end of life, its need for food naturally decreases. The digestive system begins to slow down, energy demands drop, and the sensation of hunger fades. Eating becomes more of a burden than a comfort. Even swallowing can become difficult or exhausting, and pushing food during this stage isn't just ineffective. It can sometimes make things worse, causing discomfort or even choking. Often, this loss of appetite starts slowly. Maybe they begin skipping meals, eating smaller portions, or saying, "I'm not hungry," more frequently. At first, you might think it's medication side effects, depression, or something temporary. But when it becomes consistent, and you see weight dropping and energy fading, it's likely the body signaling that it no longer needs fuel the same way. Some elderly individuals also lose their taste for food. Things start to taste bland, strange, or even unpleasant. Their sense of smell may fade, making meals less inviting. Add to that the fatigue of chewing, swallowing, and digesting. And it's not hard to see why many seniors begin to back away from the dining table altogether. As a caregiver or loved one, this can feel like a personal loss. Meals are such a big part of connection and care. You may find yourself grieving every untouched plate. But during this time, the focus has to shift from nutrition to comfort and dignity. Instead of insisting on full meals, offer small sips of water or juice, bits of fruit, spoonfuls of soft foods like pudding or applesauce, only if they're wanted. Respect their choices. Don't pressure. Create a peaceful environment around food, but don't make it a battlefield. If they enjoy the smell of coffee but don't want to drink it, make a cup anyway. If all they want is a popsicle or a spoonful of ice cream, let that be enough. Loss of appetite is one of the body's clearest ways of saying, "I'm letting go." Accepting this sign is hard, but it's also a way to begin shifting your role from keeping them going to helping them go peacefully. Recognizing the signs that a loved one may be in their final year of life is never easy. It brings with it a wave of emotions, fear, sadness, confusion, and even guilt. But understanding what to look for, rapid weight loss, increased fatigue, withdrawal, changes in breathing, and loss of appetite, can offer clarity and peace in an otherwise overwhelming time. These signs are the body's gentle signals that it's preparing for rest. And while you may not be able to stop what's happening, you can walk beside your loved one with more compassion, more presence, and more purpose. This is a sacred chapter, not one of defeat, but of reflection, connection, and deep love. As caregivers, children, friends, or partners, the most powerful thing we can do is listen to what the body is saying and meet it with grace. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to be there. If this video helped you or gave you insight, please like, share, and subscribe. We're building a community here where no one walks through aging or loss alone. Let's keep these conversations open, honest, and full of heart, because every life and every goodbye deserves to be honored.